we didn't make any noise prior to 1989. Al Robinson and I worked probably for 3 or 4 years just tinkering on my wife's kitchen table or his kitchen table, trying to figure out how to put something together that actually worked underwater. And it wasn't really till 1989 that we had a vehicle kind of like this one right here. That was our initial prototype for going out and doing actual sea trials with. And of course, it worked just like one might expect. You lowered it over the side of the boat by hand and lowered it down to whatever depth you wanted. And then you were really fortunate because you could just fly it around in a big circle, because it didn't have any flotation as the other one did, and only had the 2 horizontal thrusters. And so there was no vertical thruster on it, so you couldn't fly it up and down. You could only fly it around in a circle. But the whole exercise was actually quite a few years of simply thinking and experimenting. We knew of some smaller ROVs, not as small as these ones, but smaller ROVs that had either been developed in earlier years in other countries, like in Europe and so on. But there was very little access to information about such things, and so we thought, well, maybe they weren't as successful as one might have hoped they would be. We also discovered, after we'd started doing some work on these, that there was other individuals, and in some cases 1 or 2 companies in North America, that had similar thoughts and were trying to work toward the same thing. But we were pretty much the only Canadian company at the time that was working towards a small ROV. To be really honest with you, I'm really proud of the whole thing. I look at what's become of the ROVs that, well, as you're seeing here, that we started out with. I mean, the vehicles that you currently showed me outside are much larger than these, but I also know where they came from, following in the steps of these ones. And I know how much technology development it took to get where you're at today. The technology development that's taken place here over the years is phenomenal in my mind. I mean, you folks are now working on technologies, frankly, I don't even understand. And I'm not even going to try to, because I'm just getting too old to deal with it. In all seriousness, this particular industry, the small ROV industry, it really has some pretty significant roots right here in Nanaimo.